Once more, good morning, guys, and welcome to part 2 for Learn C Sharp 10 and .NET 6 from beginners to advanced. On this part 2, we're probably going to be focusing on structure of a C Sharp program. We're going to be looking at the explanation of Hello World program, which is the first program for any programming language you want to ever venture into. I am actually Andropov Ajebua. I'm actually a Google Developer Student Club mentor and a C Sharp developer. And I'll do a high recommendation for you to probably watch the first part. That's part 1, which is introduction on .NET and C Sharp, particularly .NET 6 and C Sharp 10, for you to be able to continue with this other part. Please, if you probably have not liked or followed, subscribe the channel on YouTube, please try as much as possible to be able to follow it up so that you can get notification and get other videos once they are being released. And equally to encourage the channel equally grows. So this morning we're going to be looking at this outline. We're going to be focusing on explanation of a C Sharp program. I want to give you the explanation on what a C Sharp program look like, so that you should, if you know the fundamental of a C Sharp program, just like a Hello World program, you should be able to write any other program provided you have the logic in your mind. We're going to be creating a C Sharp program using Visual Studio Community Edition 2022. We are going to be exploring the interface of Visual Studio Code 2022, and we're going to write in our first program on Visual Studio 2022. That's going to be our outline. So we're going to be having real life coding today. Now, one look at the C Sharp program structure. If you look at the C Sharp program structure, that's the kind of the hierarchy. So you start with namespace. What are namespaces? These are actually class library. These are actually like if you have actually done C programming, where you do something like hash include standard input output header file, is just the same thing in C Sharp. So namespaces, they have inbuilt function or classes, helper classes that you're able to import to use in your program that you want to write based on what you're doing. Now we're going to be looking at classes, we're going to be looking at members, we're going to be looking at blocks, and we're going to be looking at statements. So those are the basic elements that are found on a C Sharp program, so you get to understand them. Now that's a C Sharp program. Now if you look at it critically, you discover that all what I've explained in the previous slide, you are seeing it now in recoding here. Now you see all this area here using system.collection.generic, using system.link, and all the rest. This is what we know as importing namespace section. So like using system and all the rest, you want to get some functionalities in your program because you're going to be using, just for example, maybe you're going to be using input output functionality. Now when you want to declare that you are using a namespace, or you want to declare a namespace, you need to use the word namespace. Everything you see in blue here is actually a keyword. The keywords is actually, these are preserved words in any programming language. Therefore means that we are using it, you actually telling the compiler that because C Sharp is a compiled programming language, you're actually telling the compiler that you probably want to use a particular functionality embedded in maybe that namespace or that class, or maybe that function. Now if you come here internal, we're going to be looking at access modifiers, internal, private, public. We're going to look at that in subsequent videos. You're going to be seeing public here, or maybe private or protected for some other programs. You're going to be looking at this, but this is class declaration. So you have the access modifier, you use the keyword class and the class name, like here program is a class name. Now when you come down here, this is a static void main. Static method, we'll talk about what the static method actually means, subsequent programs. When you come down here, your all C# programs start in the main function. So when you want to write your code, you want your code to be executed, you actually have it in this section. So that's the main method section. That's the basic structure of a C# program. That's how it's going to look like. Now the same thing explained in another way. Yeah, just the first. So I just put this in references like the first, where you start and where you end, something like that. But it doesn't really mean that that's how the program flew. All programs in C# actually start on the main function. So this is reference of .NET Framework namespace. We say .NET framework, we say .NET is actually a developer platform that enables to write diverse type of application. Now this namespace name, so you're using this way, you're probably using the namespace, the name of a namespace, class name, like here, class name is program, and the main method we actually have, look at here, very important, you're going to be doing this today. You have data type, so we have string message is assigned to hello world. In programming, we don't say equals to, we say assign. This is an assignment operator. So data type here is string. We say the variable name here is actually message, while the value of the variable is actually hello world. And here is a method to display the value on the console. So like I said, for this series, we're going to be focusing mainly on a console application. So this is actually the explanation for all the session. You can still have this, you can have this, we might not have all the time to go through it, but that's the explanation, a detailed explanation for all the session of a C# program from 1 right up to 8. So you can probably look at it. You can probably look at it and maybe through the video, but if you have any question, you can probably use the comment section and actually ask questions regarding that. Okay, now when we create a program, is what we talk about. Like, just look at maybe we create a program. Is what we talk about the program, the solution name. We talk about the project name. I will talk about the main method, where the main method is found. Because where the main, we can have different classes or different files and all the rest. But where the main method is found, that's where the program actually will kickstart. So I think that's it. We'll move directly to real life coding. So I'll open my VS Code. So we're going to be functioning. We're going to be starting from like the outline actually specify. We're going to be creating a Hello World program now. So I'll just open my Visual Studio Code. Let me have this is my Visual Studio Code. I'm actually opening right away. When I open my Visual Studio Code, I'll go to create new project. So when you open it, you see this interface. I'll go to create new project. I'll click on it. And once I actually click on it, I'll probably, if I want to open it, I want to write a console application. So if you don't find it here, you just search here. You just search on this box console, maybe console application. You search, you actually filter these things that are there, like you see. But this is what we're using. So you select this one. You actually select console app.net project creating a command line, because a console application is actually a command line interface program. So you just click on next, and when you come here, forget about the .NET that is displayed there. .NET 6, if you probably selected another version update, you will not see maybe the program structures and all the rest. So by the end of today, I'll probably try as much as possible to update to .NET 6. But it's normally the same thing. You give your project name. Let me see my first project, something like that. My first project. And once you give your first name, my first project, you just click create. So before we even dive there, this is a project, your project name, your location where the solution will be stored. Preferably don't put it under your drive C, because if your operating system crash, you have lost all your projects. So preferably you can put under drive T. Your solution name, I can decide that my solution name to be different, so I can just add 2020 there. And I can select the version of the .NET I want to use. Preferably you select the latest version, which should be .NET 6. Like I said, I'll upgrade as soon as. So when you click on create, so it's actually creating your project for you. In a while it will be displayed. So that is the structure. Everything has been created for you. Look at exactly what we actually were seeing on the slide. That's it actually there. Now just because I want to push this code to GitHub, I will open the same thing but another project name that I previously created. So I will take this other one. So what I've actually selected is the same thing but a different project name, because I want to push on GitHub, so that most of you guys maybe might be able to benefit from the solution at one point in time. So this is the structure. All what we explained in the slide is exactly the same thing. So if I want to write Hello World, that's my first program, which is the first program for any programming language. I will just probably probably write the program inside the main method. So I'll just write console.writeLine. Console.writeLine, you want to print out to the screen. I'm going to write the hello world program. So I just put a hello world. Hello world. Now this is a .NET interface. You have to try as much. So if I want to run this program, look up there. If you look where my mouse, my cursor is actually, just press on my cursor is actually. You press start play there, just like a play button. You want to run the program. You want to see the outcome of the program. So if I click there, it's building the solution. It's a build started project tutorials C# 10. So it will take a little while. Since it's your first time you're building the project, it will take a little while for it to actually be ready for you to see the output. It's taking longer than I expected, sure, because my machine is already woke up with a lot of things, but the outcome is going to be there in a moment. So let's just give some few minutes, everything will be fine. My machine is super charged up with a lot of programs. That's the reason for the delay. So let me do myself a favor to refresh the machine. Okay, good. Now, if you see this program, it ran already and the result was already out, but you're not going to see it. Why? Because it was too fast. So if I want to keep the solution to the screen, I will just write console.readKey. This will enable you to. This will actually enable you to be able to keep the solutions to your screen. To keep the output window a little bit so that you should be able to read. So if I click on the play button again, I don't expect it to take longer to build because it did that already. So that's hello world. So that's the first. If you look very well, you see this is hello world. This is your first program in C#. So I can equally work on the output window so that you should be able to see what is happening. So I can change the font size maybe to 28. So that's hello world in C#. So that's your first program. Let's go a little bit and work on some basic things. So if I want to close, I have to close this program. Now there are a couple of places in this interface I will have to exploit today. Let's just try to look at it. But we are probably going to be having, as more as we continue the different session on C#, we are going to be having the exploration, because we can't really explore the whole of the interface just in this single program. If not, that will take a lot of time. Now, I want to close. For some of you, you will not see, look by your right, you will not see all this section, which we call the Solution Explorer. You will not see it. Let me just see, I'll close it. For some of you guys, oh, my machine is slow. I don't know why. So for some of you, this is how your machine will look like. You will not see this end here to see your Solution Explorer, see your main function. If that happens with you, you just come and click on View, and you take View Solution Explorer, and it has come back here. So if you look at this, actually our solution name, our project name, we actually have the main function. Inside the main function, just like we explained on the slide, that's where your code is. Take for example, if this one is closed, let me say this thing is closed like this. If I want to open that code section, I should double click here. When I double click here, this one will actually come. Now, let me say I want to push this code on GitHub. I'll just click on Git. You must have been logged in already. You must have been logged in already to your GitHub account on Visual Studio Code, which we will probably look at in another tutorial. If you guys actually indicate that you're having issues, pushing your code to GitHub. So I want to make this session to be public, so I'm just going to keep it like that, and I'll just write learn C# 10 and .NET 6 from beginners to advanced. So I'm really ready. I just went there. I just went to Git and I click on create GitHub, push to GitHub, or create a GitHub repository. I just click there, and that's what will actually send. I can choose MIT library license, or rather, say I can choose it, and I just take create and push. So this code is pushed already on GitHub. It's pushed already to my GitHub account. Visual Studio is very easy for you to be able to use Git. For you to do this, you must have installed Git and you must have installed Git on your machine. So it's pushing already. When it's done, they're going to send me a notification that it has actually done. It has actually, the GitHub repository has been created. Now let me just change this program, and let's just say we want to write a program like what we displayed there. You want to write a program maybe like what we saw there, to print your name on the screen or print a message. So I can just put string message is assigned to maybe is assigned to welcome to Adwaita Coding Arena. So something like that. A C# program, just like full stop is to English, just like semicolon is to C#. You can put it that way, which therefore implies that everything you do, every statement must end with a semicolon. So I have to run this program to see the outcome of it. And once I run the program, okay, you see, hello world is still the one, the stuff that is being displayed. Why? Because I've not built this project, so I'll take build solution, or I can take rebuild. If it persists like that, I will take rebuild, and I will run the program again. It's still showing hello world, so maybe I take rebuild. So click on build, rebuild solution. Oh yeah, normally it should be able to display that. I don't expect it to display that because I've declared a variable which I gave it a value but did not print the message on the screen. So if I want to do that, I'll just write console the right line message. You should be able to display me welcome to welcome to Adwaita Coding Arena and hello world. So that's the first program for C#. That's your first C# program. The structure, everything, I think I've explained it to you. We'll explore more of the interface in the next session. We're going to be working on data types and a whole lot of other things in the next session. So if you have any comment, please drop in the comment section below. And any difficulties, even in the installation, I know I did not have a video for installation of VS Code, Visual Studio on your machine. Please, if you have difficulties installing, do not hesitate to drop a comment on the comment section, and we'll be able to actually do you a video on that. Do a video on how to install VS Code on your machine, maybe being Mac, Linux, or Windows. I think that's that for today. We'll be in a program just to help you explore more of these things in the next session. Thank you very much, and you have a wonderful time. Please do not forget to like, subscribe, and actually share with other people who probably are interested in learning the technology.